Our fourth logo that we're going to be working on is going to be for organic produce. So let's start first by putting my name in here. Now this one, or organic means natural. So this might be a great opportunity to explore working with some script fonts in here. So I'm going to go ahead and open my type character window here, pull it off. So again, look through what you already have loaded in. I've got some scripts in here and I can kind of test drive them, looking off to the side here and see what works. If you don't find something that you like, again, come up here where it says find more, and you can use these filters and we can filter for script fonts and see if it will come up. And there we go. So these are all fonts that I don't currently have loaded in my system, and if I find something I like, let's see here. What would be a good one? What does that look like? No, I may actually stick with something I already know. I'm just going to go back to my fonts here, and let's try this one, Alpine, on here. So I'm going to make this my organic logo. Now what you can do with this is, again, I always work with my type outline. So you can see it's got a baseline and it's got the large bounding box that shows me it's a font. But if you go in here and outline it, create outlines, and then I can play around with it. It's still all grouped here, so I'm going to ungroup it. And maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the S a little bit bigger. All right. Maybe what I'm going to do is customize this T. What do I mean by customize? You're not locked into using these fonts the way you find them. I'm going to use the white direct selection tool arrow and grab a couple points here. And let me zoom in on here. I'm going to grab these points, and then maybe I'm going to stretch out the crossbar on this a little bit, kind of to fill some of the space in here. That might be an option. I'm going to select everything and rotate it so it's going uphill a little bit. And then what we can talk about is color on here. So when you think organic, you tend to think in more of the natural colors. You can explore working with, some of the green colors here. I will remind you though, these are just default palettes that you open up here. Illustrator has a huge library of color palettes, and you find that down here. The icon looks like books on a shelf. If you click on that, here's earth tones, and if I open that, it'll open these colors. Let's do larger thumbnails here. So these are kind of more not quite so bright colors here. These are more desaturated colors in the earth tones. It doesn't have to be green if it's organic. You can go into some of these other colors if you want to. Another option you might want to explore is working with some gradations. I did a little bit on the detergent logo. I'm going to save this and nest it up here. If you come down here, there's actually gradients, and I'm going to come down here and find, look at that, fruits and vegetables. So I'll make these larger thumbnails so we can see these as well. And this might be an option since we're working organic in here. So here's more citrus colors, here's kind of more green colors. Now it's treating each letter individually, but what you can do is grab that gradient tool and do an overall gradation on it if you want to. And here's the thing too, you can customize these. And what I mean by that is these are already preloaded. If you come up here and open the gradient window on here, let me close up some of these so we're not taking up so much space here. You can drag all these palettes over here and nest them in here if you want to. And let's see, I'll nest this with my other palettes up here. But then here's my gradient, and it's showing me the gradation that's up there right now. You can customize this by moving your sliders around, or you can even customize the colors a little bit. Let's say I want it darker at the bottom here. If I double click on this color, it should have done it to all of them. but it didn't. That's weird. Let's try that again. I must have deselected those. All right, well, I'll leave this. It's doing them individually here. All right, so I'll just do this one. Darken one letter. How's that? A little bit up there. And then the other thing too, you can customize this type even more. So when you think organic, maybe you think leaves and vines and things, some of the ways you can do that. I'm going to come over here to the line tool. I'm going to use the spiral tool here, spiral line segment. And let's see here, zoom in on that. Maybe I don't want quite that many segments. Let's see here. So I've got a spiral. I can come here and play with these width profiles. So this has, my line is going to be thick on one end and come to a point at the other. And what I can do is maybe I don't want that many points on here, or that many. I'm going to delete a few of these. So I'm kind of getting these little tendrils. And let's see here. So maybe what I'll do is have something come off my E at the bottom here. Play around with this a little bit. Let's thin it out a little bit so it's not quite so chunky, and then I'll rotate this around and make it look like it's coming off here. And maybe I'll copy this. Now I can come up here and do copy and paste on here, but here's a great shortcut. Select this and then hold the Option key on the keyboard down. And I'm going to pull it off. I actually want it to go the other direction here. So I'm going to come over here and under the rotation tool, there's a tool where you can reflect it. That means you'll make it a mirror image. So I'm going to double click that. And now I'll have this go off that way. And maybe make this go a little bigger as well. Let's see, where are we going to put it here? So you can add some things on here if you want to. You can even add some leaves if you want to. I'll show you a really quick and easy way to make leaves. I'm going to start with the ellipse tool. And let's fill that in with green. So here's a quick and easy way to make leaves. Start with an ellipse tool, and then you want to come up here under the pen tool and click and hold that. You've got some options under the pen tool, and the one I'm going to do is the anchor point tool. What this does is if you have a curved point and you want to make it an anchor, an angular point, or vice versa, you can do that. So if I take that and click on the top and bottom, now I have a quick and easy way to make a leaf shape. So maybe what I'll do is add a few leaves on here. Let me rotate this around a little bit. Maybe I'll bring one down here, make it a little smaller. That could work as well too. So different ways that you can dress this up. You know, if you want to add some additional ones, you can do this in here. You know, maybe you have one coming off here. Or maybe two is enough on here. So the important thing is here, you just want to make sure it looks very natural and organic because we're trying to sell produce on here.